hat makes me look like a boy. Does it make me look like a boy? It makes me look like a boy. Yeah.
I like to dedicate this to all of the Creator's righteous children. I have some food in my bag for you. Not that edible food, that food you eat? No. I have some food for thought. Since knowledge is infinite, it has infinitely fell on me.
Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we're going to be talking about AmeriCorps, repping the A. And you lead me home from sea. You're my warm wind chasing winter back to spring. You're the sun in the night, into loneliness at bay. You are my music, come sit with me and pray. Okay, today's video is going to be about AmeriCorps. Now, if you've never heard of AmeriCorps before, here's a little bit of information about it.
So you have questions about AmeriCorps? Well, you've come to the right place, because we're here to help. First off, let's clear up one thing right away. You might be wondering how to say or spell AmeriCorps. Sometimes people pronounce the P, but don't make that same mistake. AmeriCorps is alive and well, just spelled with a silent P. So think of Apple Core, or Core of the Earth. Now that we have that clear, what exactly is AmeriCorps anyways? AmeriCorps is simply Americans of all ages and backgrounds dedicating their time and skills to get things done. There we go. So how does AmeriCorps get things done? More than 80,000 Americans across the country join AmeriCorps each year, and all of them are tackling different problems in different ways. For example, AmeriCorps members help families attain affordable homes. They mentor students so that they stay in school. Perhaps there is a tornado, a flood, a forest fire, or a hurricane. AmeriCorps members also help communities recover from disasters. There's so many more things that AmeriCorps members do, but if we said it all, we'd be here all day. Why do we call them members, you ask? AmeriCorps members spend anywhere from 3 months to a year dedicating their time and skills to serve. They can volunteer with nonprofits, schools, public agencies, and community and faith-based organizations. And in case you were wondering, there are a few perks AmeriCorps members get, including money to pay for college, student loan deferment, training, living allowance, health benefits, and job opportunities with leading employers. Not too bad, right? All right. What's the purpose of AmeriCorps? Like the military or the Peace Corps, AmeriCorps is a way to serve your country. AmeriCorps members make Americans safer, stronger, and healthier, and they strengthen our communities. But above all, AmeriCorps members get things done. That's it. That's what AmeriCorps is. Learn more about AmeriCorps at AmeriCorps.gov.
So, AmeriCorps is basically a program where you do various community and national service programs. Inside of AmeriCorps, there are many different programs like VISTA, State and National, and AmeriCorps NCCC, which I'll be talking about today, which was the version that I did when I was about 18, 19. So I was right out of high school when I did AmeriCorps NCCC. And AmeriCorps NCCC is a national service project program where kids from 18 to 24 years old come together, and there are 5 different campuses that you can do AmeriCorps on. And the one that I did it on is the Southwest campus. There is one in Sacramento. There is one in Florida, I think still. There is various other ones as well, one in Maryland, I think, and a couple of others. And so the AmeriCorps that I did was AmeriCorps NCCC, And so kids 18 to 24-year-olds, they come together at one of the 5 different campuses. And so my campus was the Southwest campus, which was located in Denver, Colorado. And what you basically do is you are committed to a service of 10 months. And basically you go and you do national service projects with about 10 to 12 people on a team. Now, when I first got to AmeriCorps, or how I actually found out about AmeriCorps first, okay. How I found out about AmeriCorps was my older sister and older brother both did AmeriCorps when they first got out of high school. And so my sister did it, she was one of the very first AmeriCorps classes to do it in San Diego. And then my brother, he did his term in the Sacramento campus. The cool thing about my sister and brother, their terms, was they did it in the California campuses. And so they got to go to, my sister got to go to Alaska and my brother got to go to Hawaii. And I was like, that's so cool. I want to go to Alaska or Hawaii on mine. And so I was really hoping to get the California campuses. But I unfortunately ended up getting the Colorado campus. But I actually had an amazing time there, so I don't regret that. And yeah, AmeriCorps, man, AmeriCorps changed my whole entire life. Like, really, it just made me a better person. It helped me to learn more about myself, and it also helped me to be better on a team. And it also just showed me what the human spirit can do to help people. It's really incredible. So basically, when I was in high school, I was kind of like, I don't really want to go to college right off the bat. I'm not really interested in that, that's not really, I'm not feeling that right off the bat. I've already did 12 years of school, and school for me growing up was really hard because I have dyslexia, and so it was like really hard in school. So it's like, I'm not ready just to really jump back into school. Like, that's not happening. No. So my sister and brother reminded me about AmeriCorps, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should try that out. So I decided to apply to AmeriCorps, which all you have to do to apply to AmeriCorps is basically you go to AmeriCorps.gov, and they have different versions of AmeriCorps. So like AmeriCorps Vista, AmeriCorps State and National, and AmeriCorps NCCC. So like AmeriCorps Vista, for example, is basically something that you can do in your city. And AmeriCorps State is something that your whole state, like the state of Virginia where I live, would have an AmeriCorps State, where you can go do service projects with people from around your state. And then AmeriCorps National would be like AmeriCorps NCCC, and you can go and do projects with different people from around the country. So I did AmeriCorps NCCC, and basically all you really did for your application process, which the application process was extremely easy, by the way. It was like really, really easy. But what I did for my application basically was you go online, you fill out an application, and then you wait a few months, and then they call you. And then the national, AmeriCorps people, the office, which is actually in DC, they call you and they interview you. Now, the interview questions are like so easy. Anybody can basically get into AmeriCorps because, they just want people to come and do service for their country. So it's like, doing national service projects, doing community service for your country is like a really great thing. So they just accept pretty much anybody at this point. I mean, of course you can't have a felon or like a record or like whatever, but like you just, as long as you're between the ages of 18 and 24, you're good. So basically the questions they ask you is like, like questions like why you want to be in AmeriCorps, how you're going to impact the world, how you work on teams, various questions like that. Just like simple questions about like how, why you want to be in AmeriCorps, how you found out about it, what being a leader means to you, questions like that, simple questions. And so once they interview you, it takes them about another month, I guess, to like get back to you, and they'll send you a letter in the mail. And if you get a letter saying that you're in, then they send you a whole info packet telling you what you need to bring with you to AmeriCorps and what being in AmeriCorps means, and you know where your campus is going to be and all of those types of things. Because picking your campus, they actually pick your campus for you. You don't get to pick it, and so it's basically picked at random. So like I really wanted to go to the California campus, the Sacramento campus, but I ended up going to the Colorado Denver campus because they picked it for me, which was fine. I have an aunt that lives in Denver, Colorado, and I had never really been, like I've been to Colorado obviously, but I've never really been to Colorado like that. I like spent a lot of time there, so it was like cool to go there because I haven't really, experienced it that much. So I got my info packet about a month later. So I guess back in like June of 2010, I got my info packet telling me what I needed to pack to go to AmeriCorps and what I needed to bring with me, what I needed to not bring with me, what it's going to be like for 10 months, living with people you don't know, like all these different things, right? And so basically I got that info packet in June, and I shipped away to AmeriCorps in October of that year, of 2010, right after my birthday. So when I went to AmeriCorps, I got to the airport in October the 13th of 2010. I got to the Denver International Airport, and I saw all of these AmeriCorps people with signs. And so there was me and a bunch of other people that were there to, do AmeriCorps. And so I saw all of these AmeriCorps team leaders with signs basically directing us to them. And then we got onto these big like charter buses kind of, and we put all of our stuff in, the charter buses and whatever, and we went all the way to campus. And our campus was located on Federal Boulevard, which the new campus, they have a new campus that's not actually located on Federal Boulevard anymore. But when I was going there, we were located on Federal Boulevard, which was one of the most dangerous places pretty much in Denver. And why they had us there, I really don't know for the life of me. They had us at this old school building, kind of. And once we got there to the school building, which it took us at least like 2 hours to get there or something, it was crazy. But once we actually got to the school building, then we went inside and we basically told the people at the desk who we were, and they told us what team we were going to be on. So when we first got to the airport, team leaders that came and got us, they basically had put a little ribbon on our luggage, and each ribbon had a different color. So my color was blue, which represented water. And there were 4 different colors, and each one represented a different unit that different people could be on. Water, earth, fire, and sun. That were the 4 main units that we had on campus. And so once you were selected to be in each unit, like what unit you were going to be in, then you were told what part, like there were 2 different dorms that you could be in. One was Walsh Hall and one was Marion. And it's to believe that if you were in Walsh Hall, you were like, okay. And then if you were in Marion, you were like with like the weird random people, but like whatever. We don't go by that. But anyways, so I ended up in Walsh Hall, and I ended up on the 3rd floor, which I'm going to have a funny story that has to do with, well, a funny yet sad story that has to do with the 3rd floor and Walsh Hall and me and being a klutz, but, whatever. But once I got there, I went up to the 3rd floor, and at the time, the stupid elevator wasn't working, so I had brought, because I knew I was going to be there for 10 months, right? So I bought like basically everything in the kitchen sink, and it was like really not good because I don't know what's wrong with me and why I did that, but like thinking back, I'm like, I did not need half of that crap, but like, you know, it's my first time, so I didn't know. So I bought like half of my house. It was like really not good. But anyways, so the 3rd floor elevator was not working, right? So I had to lug all this heavy ass luggage all the way up the 3rd floor. It was ridiculous. And those stairs were steep. And we were in Denver. And Denver, you know, my breathing was really shallow because you're at a high altitude. So it's like, basically, I could have collapsed on those stairs, but I didn't. But, yeah, so, then I went upstairs to, my room, my dorm room, and I went inside, and the dorm rooms were pretty okay. I mean, they weren't the best dorm rooms, but they were okay for what they were, you know. They had these little, like, beds that were to each side. Like, I had one bed on this side and one bed on this side because we had roommates. And so, later that night, I ended up meeting my roommate because she wasn't in the room when I first got there. But, once, I got to my dorm room, I put my stuff down, and then I went around to look around to see who was, you know, there. And next door to my dorm room were these really, really nice people. I had really nice neighbors next door to my dorm room. And one of the girls' names was Ann McAdoo, which if you're watching this, Ann, hi! Thank you for being one of my first friends. And also Bronte Riley, who is now one of my best friends in the whole wide world. And we ended up being on a team together, and I'll get into more of that later because that's a crazy story. But anyways, I ended up meeting them. And Bronte, she's actually Native American as well. She's Apache Native American from the White Mountain Apache in Arizona. So right off the bat, we were like connecting, right? And she had come there with her friend Joshana, who's on the same reservation as her. And so it was really cool meeting them because it was like, oh, you know, more Native American kids that came to AmeriCorps. Because to be honest, and I'm just being honest, AmeriCorps is super white. And I don't mean any disrespect towards any of that. Like, and so there's only like a handful really of people of color that were actually in AmeriCorps, and most of them were on my unit, of course, water unit. But it was like, you know, there was only like, you know, really a handful of us that were people of color, and it was like weird to me because I was just like, wow, like there were like one Asian person, there was only like three Native American people, including myself, and like a handful of Black people, and a couple of Latinos. And that's it. Like everybody else was white. It was like weird. But I digress. So after I met Bronte and Ann McAdoo, we went and got dinner at the cafeteria, which, just to be honest, the cafeteria in my campus sucked. Really, really bad. The food there was so disgusting. It was like the worst food I'd ever eaten in my life. And I wanted to gag every night. And I was just like, why the hell do I have to eat this nasty shit? But like, I'm poor, so I don't have any other money to really go and get food from other places. Like, across the street, there was this Chinese food restaurant and also Little Caesars Pizza. Both really disgusting, by the way. But I don't know if it was that the food at the cafeteria was just so nasty to the point where you couldn't really eat it, to the point where you would go over to the Chinese food place and the Little Caesars. And it was one of those Chinese food places that was like $1.96 or $1.95 Chinese food, like the ones you see in like DC or like New York or whatever, that are like the little, like, you know, ones that you know have terrible food, but you're gonna go there anyways and probably puke your brains out when you get home, but you know, you regret it, but you know, you went there and you took that chance. But it was one of those joints, and they were really disgusting, and I don't know why we even ate them, because looking back, I'm like, why did we eat those nasty food? Like, why did we do that? But then there was also this other place that was like down the street from, on the same side, like, so the Little Caesars and the Chinese food place were across the street from our campus, and then from across so here was the Chinese food place, and then down the street from it was this place that we all went to, which I will be talking about a lot more about later, because we had some times there. This place called 4G's, which was a Mexican restaurant slash bar, I guess. And we would go there all the time to eat dinner, to have parties, to get drunk. Anyways, so a lot of people went there. And also there was this other place that people went to a lot, which I'll be talking about later as well, called Long Shots, but that was a little bit farther away. But well, we used to go there too a little bit. At first, we weren't allowed to go there because some of the TLs, which I'll be talking about what that means too later, but some of the TLs were like, you guys can't go to Long Shots because that's our turf. And then by the end of AmeriCorps, it was like taken over by all of us, so it didn't even matter. But it was like, you can't go there because it's our turf, right? So stupid. But anyway, okay. So then, after we ate dinner together, and Bronte gave me my brand new nickname, because when I first met her, when we first had said each other's names, she was like, so what's your name? And I was like, Aisa. And I was like, what's your name? And she was like, Bronte. And she was like, I'm not going to remember Aisa, so I'm going to call you Ice. And I was like, okay, that was cool. Like, growing up, my brothers and sisters had called me, like, Is, kind of. And that was, like, the most nickname, well, except for my oldest brother. He used to call me Isi Misi Mumu. Don't ever repeat that. But other than that, I never really had, like, a cool nickname growing up. And so when Bronte gave me my nickname Ice, I was like, oh yeah, now I have a cool nickname and everybody's gonna call me this and whatever. Lo and behold, did I know that all of AmeriCorps was gonna end up calling me Ice by the time AmeriCorps ended, and still do. Like, I'll still get Facebook messages from people in AmeriCorps that'll just be like, blah 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 Ice, and I'll be like, dang, y'all still remember that name. Like, that's hilarious. But I appreciate it, so thank you, Bronte, for giving me that awesome nickname. But she gave me that nickname, and then we went to eat dinner, and then after dinner we had like each unit had an official meeting, I guess, or whatever. And then we had like a meeting with all of AmeriCorps just to like brief us. And so we got to meet all of the different people. Like, we got to meet my unit leader. His name was Alan App, and he was super awesome. I really did like Alan App. He was a really cool guy. And we got to meet the Southwest campus, like the head of the Southwest campus. Her name was Barbara Ann. Barbara Ann. Barbara Ann. Do. Okay. Anyways, and we got to meet her, and she's really cool. We got to meet all these different people. Kevin Rummery, who I was playing his song in the beginning of this video, and he has this song called Lighthouse, which is like an inside joke for like anybody that went to the Denver campus. It's like an inside joke, but that's anyways. And yeah, and then once we met our unit leaders and all of those things, and the head of AmeriCorps, the Denver campus, then we got to meet our team leaders. And so I was on water unit, and so we had 7 different team leaders. All right, so after you meet your team leaders, then you get put on a temporary team during CTI. Now, you might be wondering what CTI is. Now, CTI is basically short for Corps Member Training. During CTI, you are put on a temporary team. Like, each week you'll be put on a temporary team, and CTI only lasts for a month. So from October 13th, basically till November, you were on a team, and you were on a different team each week. So like, my first team was Water 4. And I loved Water 4, by the way. My first temporary team. I met some incredible people on that team. I met some people that was going to be on my permanent team in the end, but I met some really incredible people on that team, from Kristen to Ashley to who else? Just a bunch of different people that I really do appreciate and became some of my very first friends to be in AmeriCorps. And I really appreciate that. I'm really glad that I met you guys, and yeah, so basically your first team is what you would do whatever that week's training was. So like you'd have different trainings, such as like you'd have to learn how to put gas in our government vans. Okay, so basically you have these government vans, which we call govies, and they're basically like those big like 12-passenger vans that you would see, you know, around, you know, your city or whatever. And basically those are the vans that we would use for our service projects. And so there had to be a certain number of people on your team that could drive the vans. And so you'd have to take driving tests. If you don't have your license, or if you don't feel like driving or don't want to drive the government vans, then you didn't have to take the driving tests. But it had to be just a certain number of people on your team that could drive the vans. Other things that we did during CTI was we had to learn sensitivity training, diversity training, CPR. We had to use how to use various tools like a McLeod or a hammer, axe, power tools, different things like that. And you also had to take drug tests during the CTI. So I took my drug tests when I was on my temporary team with Carly, the TL, and we went to Red Rocks that day, and that was a lot of fun because I really like Red Rocks. Red Rocks is really great. Red Rocks is a place where you can go rock climbing, as well as it is a music amphitheater. And it's really, really cool. You should go check it out one day. I hope to go see music there one day. But yeah, Red Rocks is really cool. And then after we went to Red Rocks and had lunch and had fun there, then we had to go take our drug tests, which everybody has to take drug tests because this is a government program. You have to take drug tests, and you're not allowed to, you can smoke cigarettes, but you can't do weed, and you can't have alcohol on the government, on your project sites, government project sites. And you also, if you're underage, can't drink, technically, in AmeriCorps, which I'll get to that later. But, so those are some of the types of things you would do during CTI. And basically, just getting acquainted to being in AmeriCorps and being away from home. For me, that was my first time being away from home ever in my life, up until being 18 years old. And so it was like a big, big deal for me. Being away from my family, being away from my parents, just being away from my town and my city. Like, I had never been away from any of that, like, ever. So it was like a big deal. But I totally persevered and got through it. And I'm so, so, so glad that I was able to do AmeriCorps. Like, it's just, I really am glad that I was able to stick it out and do it for all 10 months, because it got crazy during AmeriCorps. And I will be talking about some of those crazy times and moments in the next installment of my AmeriCorps videos. So please stay tuned if you want to know more about how AmeriCorps runs, how being on a AmeriCorps team feels like, and what 4 rounds of AmeriCorps means, and how crazy it can actually get. So if you like this video, please give it 2 big thumbs up. Comment down below if you want to know more about AmeriCorps, or if you're interested in applying. And I hope you're having an amazing 2017. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. I hope you are living life. And until next time, peace and blessings.
You're my lighthouse, and you lead me home from sea. You're my warm wind chasing winter back to spring. You're my song in the night, keeps loneliness away. You are my music, come sit with me and play.